You've probably walked right past a plant that could kill you in under 2 hours. Maybe you sheltered under one during a rainstorm. Maybe you photographed it on vacation and posted it to Instagram. Maybe there's one sitting on the windowsill behind you right now. We spend a lot of time worrying about the things in nature that have teeth, claws, venom, things that move. But the most effective killers on this planet don't chase you. They don't growl or rattle or rear up to warn you. They just stand there, beautiful, silent, and completely patient. Today, we're counting down 13 of the most lethal plants on Earth. We'll visit beaches where the trees will blister your skin in the rain. We'll meet a garden flower so toxic that the water in a vase becomes a weapon within hours. We'll look at a backyard ornamental that was used in one of the most audacious Cold War assassinations in history. And at the very end, a plant from the rainforests of Australia. It won't kill you, but the people who've encountered it say that death would have been a mercy. It traps its victims in agony so intense, so relentless, so impossible to escape, that some of them have begged surgeons to amputate their own limbs just to make it stop. Ready? Let's count down. Number 13. Oleander. If you've ever vacationed in California, Florida, Greece, Italy, Turkey, or anywhere along the Mediterranean coast, you have seen this plant. You've walked past it on hotel pathways. You may have leaned against it waiting for a taxi. Oleander is everywhere. Highways, shopping centers, resort pools, public parks, suburban front gardens. Landscape designers love it. It's drought-resistant, low maintenance, and absolutely stunning, with cascading clusters of pink, white, and deep crimson blossoms. It is also lethally toxic in every single part. Leaves, flowers, stems, roots, even the smoke if you burn it in a fire. The compound responsible is oleandrin, a cardiac glycoside that works with brutal precision. It targets the heart directly, triggering violent arrhythmia, then cardiac arrest. There's a well-documented historical account, retold across centuries. During Alexander the Great's military campaigns, a group of soldiers made camp for the night. Finding no suitable skewers for their fire, they cut straight, flexible branches from a nearby flowering shrub and used them to roast their meat. The shrub was oleander. By morning, no one from that meal had woken up. The heat had drawn the toxin out of the wood and directly into the food. Today, in modern times, a single oleander leaf contains enough toxin to kill an adult human. And the threat isn't limited to ingestion. Burning dried oleander branches, even accidentally in a backyard bonfire, releases toxic fumes that can cause temporary blindness and severe respiratory damage. You can admire it, photograph it, but keep your hands well away. And if you have children or dogs, keep them away too. Number 12. Lily of the Valley. Few flowers carry more romantic symbolism in Western culture. It's appeared in royal wedding bouquets. It signals spring, innocence, new beginnings. Poets have written about it for centuries. And it is absolutely ruthless. Every cell of lily of the valley contains convolatoxin, a compound so potent that in controlled microscopic doses it's used in legitimate cardiac medications. Exceed that dose by even a fraction and the results are catastrophic. Every part of the plant is toxic, but the most dangerous moment comes in autumn when the delicate white flowers are replaced by small, bright red berries, round, glossy, and deeply appealing. They look exactly like miniature cranberries or red currants. Children are their primary victims. A small handful can trigger irreversible cardiac arrest in a child. But here's the detail that genuinely surprises most adults. The water sitting in a vase of cut lily of the valley becomes toxic within hours. The toxin leaches continuously from the cut stems into the water. Emergency rooms on multiple continents have documented cases, especially involving elderly patients and young children, where someone mistook that vase water for a drinking glass. The outcomes varied. Not all of them were good. If you have cats or small dogs, a single curious drink from that vase can kill them within hours. Lily of the Valley is a plant that demands genuine respect. Keep the vase out of reach. Dispose of the water carefully and never ever leave it where children or animals can access it unsupervised. Number 11. Dieffenbachia, dumb cane. There's a reasonable chance this one is within 10 feet of you right now. Dieffenbachia, known in most garden centers as dumb cane, is one of the most common houseplants in the world. You'll find it in office lobbies, hospital waiting rooms, school hallways, and living rooms across North America, the UK, and Europe. It's practically indestructible, filters indoor air, and looks lush and tropical year-round. It also carries one of the darkest histories of any plant on this list. The sap contains calcium oxalate crystals, microscopic structures shaped like shards of broken glass, bundled into clusters. When they contact the soft tissue of your mouth or throat, they fire from the plant cells like miniature harpoons, embedding into the tissue and triggering immediate, intense chemical burns and severe swelling. The name dumb cane comes from its historical use on colonial American plantations, where overseers used it as a punishment tool. Enslaved people were forced to chew the leaves or stems. The resulting swelling was so extreme that victims couldn't form words or speak for days. In severe cases, the swelling closed off the airway entirely. Today, the primary victims are toddlers and pets, particularly cats and parrots, both notorious for investigating houseplants with their mouths. The reaction is nearly instantaneous: intense burning, uncontrollable drooling, inability to swallow. Sap contact with the eyes, from touching your face after handling the plant, can cause corneal damage and temporary or permanent vision loss. If you're keeping this plant, position it where children and animals absolutely cannot reach it. Handle it only with rubber gloves. And after any contact, wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face. Number 10. Doll's Eyes White Baneberry. This one looks like something a concept artist designed for a horror film and filed under 2 on the nose. In the forests of eastern North America, from the Great Lakes down through Appalachia, you can find a plant whose berries appear, with genuinely unsettling precision, to be human eyeballs, white, porcelain smooth, with a perfectly placed dark dot at the center of each one, as though they're tracking your movements through the undergrowth. The plant is white baneberry. Its common name is doll's eyes. Nature almost never creates this level of visual alarm by accident. This appearance is a warning signal. Unfortunately, it's one that children and curious hikers sometimes choose to interpret as an invitation. The berries contain a cardiogenic toxin that acts fast and with finality. First, burning in the mouth and throat, then dizziness and visual disturbances. Then the heartbeat slows, steadily, progressively, until it stops. Here's a detail worth knowing. Birds are completely immune. They eat the berries freely and spread the seeds throughout the forest. For every mammal, including humans, the story ends very differently. If you're hiking in the northeastern or midwestern United States and you encounter these berries, appreciate how genuinely disturbing they look. Take a photo and keep walking. Number 9. Belladonna, deadly nightshade. Few plants have accumulated more mythology, more historical weight, and more documented victims than this one. The name Belladonna is Italian for beautiful woman. During the Renaissance, aristocratic Italian women would drop the plant's juice into their eyes. The atropine it contains caused their pupils to dilate dramatically, producing a wide, luminous, feline gaze that was considered extremely attractive by the standards of the day. The long-term side effects included progressive vision loss, glaucoma, and early blindness. Aesthetic standards have always come at a cost. But Belladonna's darker reputation cuts far deeper. In medieval Europe, it was the central ingredient in so-called witches' flying ointments, psychoactive salves rubbed into the skin that induced vivid hallucinations of flight, weightlessness, and encounters with supernatural forces. The folk tradition of witches soaring on broomsticks, there's genuine pharmacological substance behind it. The people using those ointments really did believe they were flying. The berries represent the contemporary danger. They look like small, ripe black cherries, and unlike nearly every other toxic plant, which tends toward bitterness as a warning, Belladonna berries are sweet. That's the trap. 2 or 3 berries can cause severe poisoning in a child, seizures, delirium, respiratory arrest. For a grown adult, 10 is considered a lethal dose. Beautiful, sweet. Completely without mercy. Number 8. Monkshood, aconite, wolf's bane. In ancient Greek mythology, it was said to have sprouted from the venomous saliva of Cerberus, the 3-headed hound guarding the gates of the underworld. Medieval poisoners called it the Queen of Poisons. Agatha Christie used it to dispatch characters in at least 3 novels, and every one of those uses was grounded in real chemistry. Aconite, also sold in garden centers as monkshood or wolfsbane, is genuinely beautiful. Tall stems, striking purple or deep blue flowers shaped like a monk's hood, beloved by gardeners for its dramatic vertical presence. Most people who grow it have no idea what they're cultivating. The active compound is aconitine, a neurotoxin of extraordinary potency. Ancient armies used it to poison arrow tips. A glancing wound barely deeper than a paper cut could be fatal. What makes aconite uniquely dangerous among this list is this: it doesn't need to be ingested. It absorbs directly through the skin. In 2014, an experienced horticulturalist in the United Kingdom died in hospital after spending an afternoon transplanting aconite in his garden without heavy protective gloves. The toxin passed through his skin pores and the microscopic cracks that form naturally in human hands. His organs failed within hours. The symptoms: tingling and numbness in the mouth and extremities, a sensation of insects crawling under the skin, the feeling that ice water is replacing your blood, progressive paralysis, cardiac arrhythmia. Even honey produced by bees that forage on aconite flowers has been documented as potentially toxic. If you encounter this plant in a garden, appreciate it from a distance, preferably several meters of distance. Number 7. Castor Bean plant. This plant holds the Guinness World Record for the most poisonous plant on the planet. That record is not a ceremony, it is a warning. The Castor Bean plant is visually extraordinary. Enormous architectural leaves with a tropical silhouette that grows easily in temperate climates. Garden centers sell it. Homeowners cultivate it along fences and driveways for the dramatic effect. It is a genuinely impressive plant. Inside its mottled, beetle-shaped seeds lives ricin. Ricin is 6,000 times more toxic than cyanide by weight. It operates at the cellular level, permanently blocking protein synthesis and causing cells to die in sequence. There is no antidote, not one. If ricin is in your system in sufficient quantity, modern medicine can support your body and hope. That is the extent of what it can do. This made ricin the weapon of choice in one of the most audacious Cold War assassinations ever carried out on Western soil. London, September 1978. Bulgarian dissident and BBC journalist Georgi Markov was waiting at a bus stop on Waterloo Bridge when he felt a sharp sting in his right thigh. He turned to see a man bending to retrieve an umbrella from the pavement. Markov died 3 days later. An autopsy found a platinum pellet, the size of a pinhead, embedded in his leg, packed with ricin, fired from a mechanism concealed inside the umbrella. The everyday threat is simpler. Children sometimes mistake the distinctive speckled seeds for beans or exotic insects and put them in their mouths. A single seed, chewed and swallowed, can be fatal for a child. One final note. Castor oil, the common, commercially sold product, comes from this same plant and is entirely safe. The production process destroys the ricin. The plant in your garden, however, is a completely different matter. Number 6. Angel's Trumpets, Brugmansia. The English name suggests a gateway to paradise. In South America, where this plant originates, they call it something different: the devil's tree, or, more directly, the breath of death. Brugmansia is one of the most visually spectacular plants in existence, a large shrub or small tree completely covered in enormous, pendulous trumpet-shaped flowers up to 50 centimeters long, in shades of white, cream, yellow, and pale pink. The fragrance is rich and intoxicating, intensifying dramatically toward evening. Every part of it contains a cocktail of alkaloids, scopolamine, atropine, and hyoscyamine. This isn't simply a poison that shuts the body down, it's a poison that systematically dismantles the mind. Scopolamine, one of the primary alkaloids, is the compound known in criminal justice and intelligence circles as devil's breath. Reports from Colombia and other parts of South America describe a method used by criminals, a fine powder derived from the plant, blown directly into a victim's face. The effect is rapid and total. The person remains conscious. They can walk, speak, and respond to instructions, but they lose all autonomous will and form no memories of what happens next. Documented victims have been recorded emptying their own bank accounts at ATMs, handing over apartment keys, and physically assisting in removing their own possessions, with no memory of any of it the following morning. Even proximity to a flowering Brugmansia bush has been reported to cause strange, disturbing dreams and morning disorientation from ambient alkaloids in the air. In the Andes, there is a saying that has persisted for generations. He who falls asleep beneath the angel's trumpets wakes in the arms of the devil. Number 5. Giant Hogweed. This plant declared open war on humanity approximately a century ago. By most ecological measures, it is winning. Giant Hogweed looks, at first encounter, like something from a fairy tale. Towering hollow stems up to 5 meters tall, vast umbrella-shaped clusters of white flowers wide enough to shade a garden table, leaves large enough to use as an emergency tarp. It is, in a certain light, genuinely impressive. It is native to the Caucasus Mountain region. It was introduced to Western Europe and North America in the 19th and early 20th centuries as a deliberate ornamental import, an exotic conversation piece for large estate gardens. Then it escaped, and it has been expanding its territory across the UK, Germany, the Netherlands, Canada, and the northeastern United States ever since, colonizing riverbanks, roadsides, and parks with steadily increasing aggression. Its weapon is designed to be missed until it's too late. The plant's clear sap contains furanocoumarins, compounds that silently strip your skin of its ability to process UV light. When the sap contacts your skin, you feel nothing, no burning, no tingling, no signal of any kind. Then you walk into sunlight. Within minutes to hours, the sun begins burning your unprotected skin at a cellular level. Enormous fluid-filled blisters form across the contact area. These are genuine chemical burns, second and third degree. They take months to heal and leave permanent dark scarring. In many documented cases, the scarring is disfiguring. Sap in the eyes produces a very high probability of permanent blindness. On a hot summer day, direct contact isn't even required. The plant releases its compounds into the immediately surrounding air. Standing near it and breathing normally can cause chemical burns to the airways and swelling of the larynx. Removal crews in the UK and Germany now work in full hazmat suits with respiratory protection. They return every season because the seeds remain viable in the soil for up to 12 years. This is not a weed, it is a biological occupier, and it is expanding. Number 4. Cerbera mangas, the suicide tree. Forensic toxicologists have a shorthand for the ideal undetectable poison. It must act quickly, mimic a natural cause of death, and break down before any standard test can find it. The suicide tree, Cerbera mangas, meets all 3 criteria. It has been doing so, quietly and effectively, for centuries. It grows in the coastal mangroves and river estuaries of southern India, Madagascar, and across Southeast Asia. To look at, it's entirely unremarkable, a medium-sized tree with glossy dark leaves, white flowers, with a pleasant jasmine-adjacent fragrance, and fruit that resembles small green mangoes. Inside each fruit is a seed containing suburban, a cardiac glycoside that selectively blocks the calcium channels regulating the heartbeat. The resulting death looks clinically exactly like a sudden massive heart attack. That is the problem. Until the advent of modern high-resolution chromatography, suburban was essentially undetectable at standard autopsy. The compound breaks down rapidly in the body, leaving no obvious chemical fingerprint. A physician examining the body had no reason to look further. Cardiac arrest, natural causes, case closed. Researchers studying death rates in Kerala, in southern India, estimate that the suicide tree accounts for hundreds of deaths per year in that region alone, and that the true figure is almost certainly substantially higher, because the majority of cases are never flagged for investigation. The bitter taste of the seed is easily masked with strong spices, and in a culinary tradition built on complex, layered, intensely flavored cooking, it is effectively invisible. A person eats their meal, they feel fine. Then they don't. Forensic science has advanced, but in regions with limited investigative resources, the suicide tree remains precisely what its name promises. Number 3. Strychnine tree, Strychnos nux vomica. If you've read Agatha Christie, and statistically there's a solid chance you've encountered this plant by name. Strychnine appears in more of her novels than almost any other poison. She understood, with characteristic precision, what made it so effective as a storytelling device. Real strychnine comes from the seeds of Strychnos nux vomica, a tropical tree native to South and Southeast Asia and Sri Lanka. The seeds look like small, flat, grey discs embedded in a gelatinous pulp inside modest-looking fruit. In the 19th century, French chemists learned to isolate the active alkaloid. What they extracted became synonymous, across toxicology and literature alike, with a particular kind of suffering. Unlike virtually every other poison on this list, strychnine doesn't sedate. It doesn't quietly stop the heart or put the mind to sleep. It removes every inhibitory control your nervous system possesses. It works by blocking glycine, the neurotransmitter responsible for telling your muscles to relax. Without it, every external stimulus, a sound, a beam of light, a slight touch, triggers a cascade of uncontrolled signals from the brain to every voluntary muscle simultaneously. Every muscle contracts at maximum force at the same time. The resulting convulsions are catastrophic. The body arches backwards so violently, a posture called opistotonos, that victims make contact with the floor only at the back of the skull and the heels. The muscular force generated can fracture vertebrae and rupture tendons. The detail that most people find most disturbing. Consciousness is fully preserved throughout. Strychnine does not cloud the mind. The victim is completely aware of everything happening to them for the entire duration, which can last several hours. The facial muscles contract into a wide, fixed grimace, known in medical literature as the rhesus sardonicus, the sardonic smile, that persists even after death. A number of comic book historians and literary scholars believe this specific image directly inspired the visual design of the Joker. There is no fast antidote. Treatment is supportive care, muscle relaxants, and time. Number 2. Manchineel tree. The Guinness World Records named it the world's most dangerous tree. This is one of the less controversial entries in that publication. The manchineel grows along beaches and coastal forest margins in Florida, the Caribbean islands, Central America, and the northern coast of South America. It looks completely convincingly like exactly the kind of shady tree you'd want to rest beneath during a sweltering afternoon, broad, dense canopy, green and welcoming. Sheltering under it in the rain is one of the most dangerous things a person can accidentally do outdoors. The fruit, small, yellowish-green, faintly fragrant, was named by the Spanish conquistadors who first encountered it, Manzanilla de la Muerte, the little apple of death. One bite delivers an initial impression of sweetness. Within 60 seconds, that sweetness becomes what survivors consistently describe as swallowing lit charcoal. The throat begins to close. The toxins, primarily forbol compounds, begin dissolving the esophageal lining and stomach tissue from the inside. The rain scenario affects far more casual visitors. When it rains, water carrying dissolved sap from the leaves and bark falls onto skin below. The result is immediate and severe chemical burns, large fluid-filled blisters, and progressive destruction of the surface layers of skin. The effect is comparable to being exposed to a blister agent in chemical warfare. Standing near burning manchineel, even the smoke can cause corneal damage and vision loss. Historical accounts suggest that Juan Ponce de Leon, the Spanish explorer who spent years searching the Americas for a mythical fountain of youth, found his actual end in Florida when a Calusa arrow, tipped with manchineel sap, struck his thigh. He died from the wound. On most Caribbean and Central American beaches where manchineel grows, the trunks are painted red or marked with skull warnings. Read those signs, every single one of them. Number 1. Every plant on this list can kill you. The one at the top of the list can do something that a significant number of its victims have described in documented interviews with researchers as considerably worse. Gympie grows in the rainforests of far north Queensland, Australia, and in select areas of Indonesia. It appears at first encounter to be a completely harmless large-leafed shrub. The leaves are broad, heart-shaped, bright green, and covered in what looks like a soft, dense, fine fuzz, the kind that makes you want to run your hand across it. That fuzz is composed of millions of microscopic hollow needles made of silicon dioxide. Glass, essentially. Each one is a tiny, loaded syringe. They are so fine and so brittle that any contact with bare skin, with fabric, with animal fur, causes them to snap at the point of entry, remain embedded, and inject their payload of complex neurotoxin into whatever made contact. Soldiers, loggers, field biologists, and hikers who have been exposed describe the resulting pain with striking consistency, a simultaneous acid burn, a high-voltage electric shock, and the sensation of something crushing the affected area in a slowly tightening vise, all at once, without pause. The needles do not dissolve, they do not flush out, they remain embedded in the skin and continue releasing toxin not for hours, but for months. In documented cases, for years. Any trigger, a change in temperature, contact with water, light pressure on the area, produces a fresh acute episode of the same pain. A field researcher who fell into a gympie plant described having to be physically restrained in a hospital bed for 2 days because the pain-induced convulsions were too severe to manage otherwise. 2 years after the incident, cold showers still triggered burning at every point of original contact. Multiple victims have requested amputation of the affected limbs. Some have ended their own lives. The only partial treatment is to apply waxing strips to the affected area and attempt to mechanically remove as many needles as possible without rubbing the skin, which embeds them deeper. This does not resolve the pain, it reduces it. Nothing resolves it. The plant also continuously sheds its needles into the surrounding air. Walking near gympie without a proper respirator risks inhaling the particles, causing internal bleeding, intense coughing, and swelling of the airways. Gympie is not the most toxic plant on this list by conventional measure, but it is the most deliberately, architecturally, exhaustingly cruel. It is nature's most persuasive argument for paying very close attention to where you put your hands. Take a look around you right now. The Dieffenbachia in the corner of the office. The oleander along the road you drive every morning. The Castor Bean plant someone's neighbor is growing for the aesthetic. The lily of the valley someone brought home in a bouquet last week. The most dangerous things in the natural world do not announce themselves. They bloom, they smell sweet, they offer shade on a hot day. They sit in ceramic pots on windowsills and filter your indoor air while children play nearby. Which one on this list surprised you the most? And if any of these are currently growing in your home or garden, drop it in the comments. We want to know. If this video changed how you look at the plants around you, hit subscribe, stay curious, and please stay careful.